And let me get my screen shared. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Carrie Luke, and I'm going to be your educational specialist for today and tomorrow. A little bit about me. I have been with NICE for about 4.5 years. Before that, I was an elementary and middle school classroom teacher for 16 years. So, lots of experience with teaching and training. Throughout training, guys, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to unmute and ask. You can also place those in the chat. Just be aware if I don't answer you right away, I'm not ignoring you. I just have not seen your question yet. As soon as I see it, I promise I'll respond to it. We'll have two 15-minute breaks built in and a 30-minute lunch break. I typically like to go about an hour or a little over. If you get ready for a break before then, just let me know and we can definitely take that. Before we get started, I want to make sure that you can see my slide deck.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right. So what I like to do is I like to start off going over the slide deck and telling you about the product. Then we'll jump into the NICE system itself and we'll go through everything that we've gone through on the slide deck in there. So we're going to get started. The first thing we're going to go over is your resources. We have some really good resources for you. Your first resource is going to be the help. At the top of each page with NCX1, you will see a question mark. If you click on that question mark, it'll take you directly to the help. So I like to wait until we're in the system itself to go through that. Your next resource will be the slide decks that I'm using today and tomorrow. I will send both days to you at the end of training today. You're welcome to use these for your reference if you needed to go back to review things, or if you needed to train others to use the product, you're welcome to use those for that as well. The next resource that we have is our NICE Dojo. If you have not signed up for Dojo, please do so today. I am required to give you an assessment, and this assessment will come from NICE Dojo. But once you're in NICE Dojo, you'll see where it says Learning Communities. And if you hover over that, it's going to bring up your self-paced learning. So there's lots of QM self-paced learnings in here. If you need to reference back to those after training, they are there for you. Our agenda today is we're going to start off with our admin setup, what they're going to need to set up in your system to begin using it. Then we're going to go to our form manager. The form manager is where you can see all forms that are created in your system. When I say forms, these are the forms you're going to use to evaluate your agents, interactions, their calls, their emails, etc., using those. We're going to be creating a form today. We're going to go over the different form elements or the question types you can add to your form. We're going to go over your scoring options for your questions, etc. And then we're going to move to the interactions hub, and this is where you can see all interactions in your system. So you're able to see all of the phone calls. If you purchased emails and chats, etc., you would see those there as well. From the Interactions Hub, you're able to send out a calibration. You can do an on-the-fly evaluation, as well as you can send that agent a self-assessment for themselves. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go over our quality planner. And this is where you can select like what team you're wanting to evaluate, your groups, how many interactions are you wanting to score per agent, and you select your evaluators. And the system's going to automatically and gradually, randomly send those evaluations to the evaluators for them to score. So we're going to go over our platform to start with. You want to go ahead, guys, and get where you can log into your NICE system. You want to make sure you're either using Google Chrome or Google Edge. If you use other browsers, we cannot guarantee 100% functionality. So you want to either use Google Chrome or Google Edge. So I'll give everybody a minute or two to get logged in. Does anybody need more time to get logged in?
No, I'm not getting it.
Okay. All right. Once you're logged in, you are going to see this page. Okay. Right over here on the right, you'll see your initials with a drop down and your bell notification. I'll go over those with you in just a few minutes. Over on the left, you're going to see this waffle grid. If you will click on this waffle grid, I want to make sure you have everything that you're going to need for training. So when you click on your waffle grid, you should see where it says quality management, coaching, interactions hub, and my zone, dashboard, and reporting. Okay, let me know, guys, if you're missing anything. Awesome. All right, so now your initials and your bell notification. From your initials, you'll have a drop down. This is where you'll sign out at the end of each work day. You may or may not have these other options. Is going to be according to your permissions that you were given. And then you have a bell notification. And this is where the system's going to send you notifications. For example, if someone shares an interaction with you, you're going to get a bell notification alerting you of that. All right, so we're going to move on to our admin. We have everyone in CX1 is considered an employee. So your admin, they have to go in and they have to create an employee profile for you. This is just going to consist of like your first name, your last name, a valid email address, and then they're going to assign you a role. This is going to be like agent, supervisor, manager, etc. So whatever your role is. Down at the bottom, there are some attributes that I want to go over with you that they assign for each employee. The first one is can be evaluated and coached. This needs to be checked if it is for an agent, if you're going to be evaluating their calls or if you're going to send them a coaching session. Can be recorded screen. If you want that agent screen recorded, this would need to be checked. However, screen recording is an additional purchase. Can be recorded voice if you want that agent's voice interactions recorded. And then the big one I want to go over is can view BI reports. Our reports are called business intelligence reports, or BI for short. Only 10% of your active users can have access to these without a charge. So we do make it a two-step process to get access to those. This is going to be your first step to get access to those. We have ways that we organize our users within CX1. The first way is going to be a team. Now, every employee has to be on a team and they can only be on one team. Okay, so your admin would come into where it says teams and they would create a new team. They're going to give the team a name. They can give it a description if they want. Now, right here under that, you're going to see where it says team lead. This is going to come into play two places in your QM process. The first place this is going to come in is when we get to our workflow settings on our form. You have the ability to send that graded evaluation to the supervisor before it would go to the agent. This supervisor is going to be whoever is listed right here as that team lead. Okay. The second place this team lead will come into play is your agents have the ability to request coaching sessions. If your agents request coaching sessions, then the person that's going to receive that request is also going to be whoever is listed here as that team lead. Okay, any questions on that? Okay,
No, thanks.
all right. So everybody has to be on a team and can be only on one team. The next way that we have to organize your users within CX1 is an option. It is not required, but it is called groups. Some use cases for groups would be like your new hire agents, maybe your seasoned agents, your bilingual agents, etc. Employees can be in multiple different groups. The next way we have to organize your unit is hierarchy. Now, I do not go real in depth with hierarchy because the only place you're going to see anything about this in your quality management is going to be in your reports. But what hierarchy is just an org chart, and the lowest level of that chart is going to be your teams. All right, so each person can have up to 3 views. So I want to go over the different views for you. The first view is your interaction view. This is just going to allow that person to only listen to certain people's interactions. So they can't just go in the system and listen to anyone in your company's interactions. The next view is the evaluation view. Same thing, they can only evaluate certain agents. They can't evaluate just anyone in your company that's an agent, only specific agents. The role view and user view, both of these are for your admins. The role view allows access to only certain security profiles in admin, and the user view is the employees that they can actually see in the employee profiles. All right, so let's talk about our form manager. Do y'all have any questions before we start on the next part? All right. So form manager, this is where you're going to be able to see any forms that have been created in your system. You're going to see the form name. You can see the version of the form, when it was last modified, who created the form, and then the status, whether there's 3 different statuses you're going to see. Draft means you're still working on that form. If it says active, that means that form is currently being used. And if you ever see the status inactive, that was once a form that was active that has now been deactivated. So it'll show as inactive. All right. Now from here, this is where you would create your new form. When you click on this, this is what you're going to see. Now, I know that we read from left to right, but when we are creating a form, we're going to work backwards. We're going to start with our properties. This is where you can enter like your title for your form, your subtitle, you can add your company logo, etc. This is your form preview, and this is going to update in real time. So as soon as you type your title and your properties and your logo, it's going to automatically populate right here for you. Over on the left, these are called your form elements. All a form element is the question types that you can add to your form. And we're going to go through each one of these today. All right. So I like to go into the nice system to go over all of this. So let me get it up. All right, so if you're following along, we're going to come to our waffle grid in the top left-hand corner, and we are going to come down to where it says quality management, and we're going to click on this. Okay. It's going to automatically bring up your form manager. Now you're going to be able to see all forms created in your system, not just the forms that you create, but anyone in your company that has access to the form manager, you're going to be able to see their forms here. To create a new form, we're going to come over here to the top right to this blue new form button, and we're just simply going to click on this. Now, before we dive into this, I do want to show you the help. So right up here at the top of each page within CX1, you're going to see this little question mark. If you click on it, it's going to take you directly to your help. So since we are on Form Manager, it's going to come up and it's going to tell you step by step how to create a form. Now, if you needed to get to the main help, you would just simply come to the top left and you're going to click on the CX1 Empower logo. And when you click on it, it's going to bring you to your help home. So here you can search by keyword or phrase. Down at the bottom, you are going to see where it says release notes. Okay. Our company does a release each quarter. So if you click on this, we have a 26.1 that will start coming out in April. And this is going to tell you everything that will be included in this update. If you wanted to know just about quality management, you could come right over here, click quality management, and it's going to tell you exactly what's going to be included in this. All right. Now, if you would like to just watch, you're welcome to do that. If you want to create a form with me, you're welcome to do that as well, whichever way works for you. But we're going to start right over here on our properties on the right. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to label our form. So I'm just going to label it test form. And you're going to see as soon as you do that, it's going to populate right here in the form preview for you. Under that, you can change your font for your title if you want. You can change your font size. And then where this black square is, this is where you can change your font color. So when you click on the black square, it's going to bring up your color palette. And if you're creating a form, guys, feel free to play around with the different font colors today. You also have the ability to add a hex number for a specific color here as well. You can make your title bold. You can italicize it as well as underline it from here. Now, your title is considered to be on the left-hand side of the form, but you can move it to the center of the form or over to the right-hand side if you prefer. And then I'm going to enter a subtitle. So for my subtitle, I'm just going to put test. And then you can change your font color, your font from here if you want, your font size. This gray square, you can click on that. It'll bring up your color palette. And you can also enter a hex number for a specific color here if you wanted. All right, you have the ability to make this bold. You can italicize it. You can underline it. Now, again, it's considered to be on the left-hand side of the form, but you can move it to the center or over to the right-hand side. Your next option is you can change this background color. So right down here where this is white, if you wanted to change your background color, you can change it. Again, the white square will bring up your color palette, or you can enter a hex number as well. Your next option, this is where you can add your company logo. Okay. What you would have to do is save your logo as a picture first. And when you come here and you click on browse, and I saved your logo, I'm just going to double click on it. I hope this is the correct logo. I will place this in the chat for you if you want to use it for training. You just save it as a picture. Okay. Now, after you upload it, the logo name's going to be here. If you happen to add the wrong logo, there is a trash can where you can delete this. And this is where you can adjust your logo size. As long as this locked aspect radio button is checked, if you adjust your width, it's automatically going to adjust your height so that it's symmetrical. So I'm just going to put a 1 in front of this 64, and you can see that the logo just got larger. And then we have 10 header fields, and these 10 header fields are reportable, meaning this information is going to show up in your reports. You can select which headers you would like to have on your form from here. So the first one is agent name. You just check the box by it. The contact, that's going to be the phone number, the email address that it come from. Evaluation start date. This is going to be the date that the evaluator, if it's a manual evaluation, begins scoring that interaction. If it comes from a quality plan, that is going to be the date that that quality plan sent that task to that evaluator for them to score. The evaluator name. Now, if you do not want your agent to know who the evaluator was, you're not going to want to check the evaluator name. The interaction date. So when did that interaction hit your system? The duration. The master contact. This is a master ID for all related contacts for that interaction. And if your agent requested that one-time review, it would have the review date. Segment ID, let me explain what your segment ID is. When you pick up the phone and say, thank you for calling, how may I assist you? That begins segment 1 of your interaction. If you place that customer on a hold, when you return from that hold, it starts a separate segment ID. Or if you transfer it to another agent, that also begins another segment ID. Okay. And then the skill that was triggered in the call. So these are the 10 headers, guys. These will automatically be filled in when your evaluator opens a scorecard to begin scoring an interaction. These will be filled in. All of these headers are reportable. So all of this information is going to show up in your reports. Now, under that, you have some custom header fields. Your custom headers, guys, are not reportable. They're not going to show up in your reports. But if for some reason you did need a custom header, and I'm just going to put custom header as mine so we'll know. And you just click the plus sign if you want to add another one. Now, your custom headers, they're not going to automatically be filled in. That is something that you're going to have to fill in yourself. So remember, they're not reportable. Any questions so far? Okay. We're going to move to our elements on the left. You're able to hover over each one of these elements, guys. Is going to give you a description. So the first element is a section, and this is how you're going to organize your questions within your form. You do want all of your questions in a section. So what we're going to do is we're going to click right here on section. We're going to drag it to our form preview right here, and we're going to drop it. Now it's going to have a number 1 and it's going to say set title. We are going to actually do 2 sections today. So you can either come back and drag and drop another section, or you can simply come to the far right to these little squares. And if you hover over it, it says duplicate. If you click on that, it's going to bring a separate section down for you. So it's going to say number 2 and set title. We are going to come back up to where it says number 1, set title, and we are going to highlight where it says set title and hit backspace, and we are going to label this call verification. After you have this typed, you have the ability to highlight that. You can make it bold. You can italicize it, underline it, change your font size, as well as your font color. Okay. Over or right here under it, this is telling you you are using 19 characters out of the possible 2048. And over on the right, this is where you can change your background color. So if you wanted to change this white rectangle, you can click right here on this white square. It's going to bring up your color palette, or you can change your hex number. We're going to scroll down to where it says number 2, set title, and we're going to highlight where it says set title, and we're going to hit backspace, and we are going to label this call mechanics. Okay. After you have the typed, you have the ability to make it bold, italicize, underline it, etc. Same thing over on the right, you have the ability to change the background color for this section if you want. Now, one thing about CX1, it does not automatically save. So what I recommend is you want to save it as a draft. So if you are creating a form, let's go ahead, if you'll follow me, we're going to come right above our properties to where it says save as draft. And everything we do in training, we're going to label it ZZZ, your initials, and we're going to label this one test form. Now I have to put a 1 because I already have a test form in your system. And the reason we are doing ZZZ is, first of all, so I'll know that it's from training. So after training, I will delete this out of your system. But also, sometimes after you delete it, it shows up on your reports for a small amount of time. This way, it'll be at the very bottom of your reports. So I'm just going to give it a save. Now, anytime that you save it, guys, you want to come back over to your elements on the left. And right above it, you're now going to see your form name. And above that, you're going to see where it says Form Manager in blue. If you click on that, it's going to bring you right back to your forms. So right here, all you have to do is find your form, click on it, and it's going to bring you right back into it. Now, I have found that if you don't save it as a draft and go to your form manager and come back in, sometimes it's really hard to get your questions into your sections, okay? So save yourself a lot of trouble and just go back to your form manager and come back into it. We're going to start over on the left. We're going to start with a yes, no question. Now we have 3 scoreable question types. When I say scoreable, these are the questions you're able to assign a point value. The 3 that are scoreable are going to be these 3 right here that surround your section. Okay. Now, the rest of these you can add to your form. You're just not able to assign those a point value. So your first scoreable option is going to be a yes, no question. This is where the evaluator can choose one response for this question, and it is a scoreable item. So you are able to add a point value to this question. So what we're going to do is we are going to click right here on yes, no, and we're going to drag it into section 1. Now, if it goes below it, you want to just sort of move your mouse a little bit, and you want those little blue dotted lines to go into that white section. When you drop it, it should say 1.1. So the first one is telling us it is section 1 of the form, and the second one is question 1. If yours doesn't say 1.1 and you need assistance, just let me know. All right. We are going to come right here where it says set question. We're going to highlight that and hit backspace. And we're going to say, did the agent use an appropriate greeting? All right. You're going to see that each question has its own properties over on the right. So we're going to add instructions for this question. We're going to say, was the agent positive and upbeat? Okay. You're going to notice that this question is going to show up at the bottom of your question. Your next option is you can choose, do you want your answer choices vertical, or you can choose for your answer choices to be horizontal, whichever you would prefer. Your next option is you can make this required. Required just means that this question must be answered before the form can be submitted. Okay, so it'll have a red asterisk, it's going to say required. If that evaluator tries to submit this without this question answered, it's going to come right here and it'll say this field is required. Now, our product team does recommend that any questions that are scorable, that you make them required, just so that the evaluator doesn't accidentally submit a scorable question without it being answered. The next thing is going to be grayed out until after we enable our scoring, but its mark is critical. What this is your auto fail. You can, after we set up our scoring, we'll come back, but critical question, you can either choose to fail the section of the form or the entire form would turn to 0. So we'll come back to that in just a little bit. Your next options is your yes, no. You can change these answer choices if you wanted to, like always and never. Just be aware whatever you put in this no box is going to need to be 0 points. You also have the ability to use an A. Now, with this NA, if it is selected, that agent is still going to lose points. I will show you on our next question if you want to use NA and the agent not lose points for NA being selected, how to do that. But to use NA, you just click the box and it'll add that answer choice. You also can have your form to automatically open up to like yes being marked on your form, but you could change it to no or NA if you wanted. To do this, you just simply click the circle to the left of yes, and you're going to see it's going to be marked as yes, but you would be able to change it. Now, if you decide I don't want it to open up to yes, you're not going to be able to just simply click that to remove it. In that case, what you're going to need to do, you're going to need to select the NA and uncheck NA to remove that. Okay. All right. Any questions on this?
I get it.
Okay. Awesome. All right. We're going to come back to our elements on the left, and we're going to bring over a radio question. This is your second scorable question type. The evaluator can choose one response for this question. This is also the question type you would want to use if you want to use an NA without NA losing points. So I'm just going to click on radio. I'm going to drag it into section 1, and it's going to be question 1.2. So again, if you have any issues getting it in that section, just let me know. Right. We're going to highlight where it says set question and hit backspace. And we're going to say, did the agent state the confidentiality agreement in the opening of the call? All right, we're going to go to our properties on the right. So again, you can add instructions. Remember, these will show up at the bottom of your question. You're able to choose your answer choice layout, whether you want them to be vertical or you can choose for them to be horizontal. Required, again, that just means it must be answered before that form can be submitted. And then here where it says choice one. So for this one, we're going to say yes. For choice two, we're going to say no. And if you want to use NA without NA losing points, do not check this use NA. Instead, come to the right of no. And in this box, you're going to put in NA. If you do it this way, guys, when we get to our scoring, you're going to be able to give yes and NA the exact same point values. That way, if NA is selected, they're not going to lose points for that. All right, we're going to go back to our elements on the left. Our last scorable question type is a checkbox question. This is where the evaluator can choose multiple answers for this question. So we're going to click on checkbox, drag it into section 1. So it should be question 1.3. So again, if you have any issues getting it in that section, just let me know.
Okay, not bad. At this time, no, that's okay.
It's not going in for you, Enrique?
Uh, I'm okay. I just was wondering if the checkbox could be used for a scale from, for example, 0 to 10 for some evaluations, but it seems it can be because here we have a choice one, choice two, and we can add more and also arrange it horizontally. It
Right.
seems it's useful.
Yes, it can be changed and you can add more. All right, so for this question, we are going to say, did the agent attempt or fill in all demographics of the customer's account? Okay, then we're going to come to our properties on the right. Again, you can add instructions. They'll show up at the bottom of your question. You can choose your answer choice layout. You can make it required. And then right here where it says choice one, we're going to put name. For choice two, we're going to put address. To add another answer choice, guys, you're simply going to click on this plus sign right here to bring down another box. And we're going to put account number here. Now, the way a checkbox question is going to work, when you get to your scoring, you're going to give each answer choice the same point value. Okay. So let's say name is 2 points, address is 2 points, account number is 2. This question would be worth a total of 6 points. If they didn't verify, let's just say the address, then they're only going to get 4 out of those possible 6 points. Okay, so to get all answers, each answer choice would need to be selected. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see this add multiple. And I want to tell you what that is. We had customers that don't like clicking the plus sign to bring down another box. If that is you, you can simply come here where it says add multiple, and you can type your answer choices just like so. And when you click add, it creates those boxes for you. I'm going to delete these because I don't need those answers on there twice. Any questions about the checkbox question?
No, thanks.
We're going to come down to section 2, and we are going to drag a yes, no question into section 2. And when you drop it, it should say 2.1. So that means it's the second section, first question. All right, we're going to highlight where it says set question and hit backspace. And we're going to say the agent confirmed the caller's ID. All right, we're going to come to our properties on the right. So again, you could add instructions. You can choose your answer choice layout. You can make it required. And again, you're going to have your yes, no options. Remember, you can change these, but whatever's in the no box is going to need to be 0 points. All right, we're going to come back to our elements on the left, and we're going to bring over a checkbox question. So I'm going to click on checkbox, drag it into section 2, and I'm going to drop it. So it should be question 2.2. All right, we're going to highlight where it says set question and hit backspace. And we're going to say which forms of ID were confirmed. All right, so again, you can come to your properties on the right. You could add instructions for this question. You can choose your answer choice layout. And then right down here is where you're going to enter your answer choices. So where it says choice 1, I'm going to highlight that and hit backspace. And I'm going to say last 4 of social. For choice 2, I'm going to put mother's maiden name. To add another option, you're just simply going to click the plus sign to the right. And we're going to say email address. And I'm going to add one more box. And in this box, I'm going to put phone number. Okay, remember you have to give each answer choice the same point value, and each answer choice will need to be selected to get the total points for that question. All right, so those are all of our scoreable items. Now we're going to go over the rest of the question types you can add to your form. They just can't have a point value assigned to them, okay? So the first one is date and time. Now this is not linked to any type of calendar, okay? This could be used maybe as an evaluator. You are listening to an agent's call, and maybe that customer requested for them to call them back tomorrow at 3 o'clock. You, as the evaluator, are ensuring that that agent set that call back up, okay? So we're going to click right here on date and time, and I'm going to drag it into section 2. So it should be question 2.3. Where it says set question, I'm going to highlight that and hit backspace, and I'm going to change this to call back date. And if you come to your properties on the right, you can add instructions for that callback date. You can select the date format that you would like to use. Now, if you leave it on display date, it's just going to be a calendar, so you could select the date for that callback, or you could choose to use the current date that it currently is. You also could make that required, meaning it must be answered before that form can be submitted. Now, if you wanted to add a callback time, right here, you're going to see time. If you come to the right of that, you're going to just click on this toggle switch. It'll light up green, letting you know you're adding a time for it. You can add instructions for your time. Again, if you leave it on the start time, this is what it'll look like. So you can just scroll down and select the time, or you can choose to use the current time. Now, after you turn your time toggle switch on, you want to come right back here to your form preview where it says set question. You're just going to highlight this and hit backspace, and we're going to change this to call back time. All right, we're going to come back to drop down in just a few minutes. If you go under that, we have hyperlink. So this is going to be a hyperlink for your evaluators, okay? So we're going to click right here on hyperlink. We're going to drag it to your form preview and drop it. So it's going to say enter text. Okay, so this is where you can add like KB articles for your evaluators here as long as they have a URL attached to them. But right here where it says enter text, we're going to highlight that and hit backspace. And we are going to put click here to review the rules and regulations. Now, after you have it typed, I do recommend highlighting that because you're going to want it to stand out on your form. And I'm going to show you why in just a couple of minutes. But you can make this bold, italicize it, underline it. I do recommend making the font size larger for it just so it's going to stand out on your form a little bit better. And you can also change the font color so it would stand out further if you wanted to do that as well. It's up to you. If you wanted to change it, you can do so. Now, after you have this typed, you're going to come to your properties over on the right, and this is where you're going to enter your hyperlink. So we're going to do niceincontact.com here. Now, I want to show you what it's going to actually look like on your form and why you want this to stand out. So right up here at the top of your form preview, you're going to see this test form button. If you click on it, it's going to show you what your actual form is going to look like. So you're going to be able to see your title, your logo, your headers will automatically be populated except for your custom headers. Right here, guys, you have built-in comment boxes so you can comment on an entire section or you can comment on an individual question. Now, if you click on it, it currently has 256 characters. I also want to make you aware the way it sets currently, when you add those comments, anyone that has access to this form can see it, including your agents. However, the way it is now, those comments, once they are added, they cannot be edited or deleted. However, when that 26.1 starts rolling out in April, you will have the ability to edit and delete those comments, okay? But I just want to make you aware that currently there's not a way to edit or delete those. Now, this is my required question. If I scroll on down, this is what your hyperlink's going to look like on the form. So when you click on it, it should take you to the URL that was put in, which it did. It's currently working like it should. Now, right down here, this validate button, this is your practice submit button. So if I click on validate, if I did not answer this required question, it's going to come up and it'll say this field is required. So I would have to answer it before I could submit that form. But to get back to our form where we're creating it, you can just simply click this cancel button and it brings us right back here to our form. All right. Our next option is a label. Now, a label, you could use this to add like directions to your question or directions to your form. A label is not reportable, so it's not going to show up in your reports. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to just use it for directions on my form. So I'm just going to scroll up to the top of my form and I'm going to click on label and I'm going to bring it right above section 1. Now it's just going to say set title. It's not going to have a number, but I'm just going to highlight that and hit backspace. And I'm going to say, please answer according to the agent interaction. All right, I'm going to scroll back to the bottom. Our last two elements is a short text and a long text. Both of these guys are reportable, so they're going to show up in one of your reports. The only difference in this is a short text can be one line of notes and a long text can be multiple lines of notes, okay? We're going to use a long text just so I'm able to show you all of the options for that. So I'm going to click right here on long text. I'm going to drag it in to section 2, and it's going to say question 2.4. Okay, so again, if you have issues getting it in the section, just let me know so I can assist you. Right. Where it says set question, we're going to highlight this and hit backspace, and we are going to label this evaluator comments. All right, we're going to come to the right so you can add instructions to this. And I'm just going to say, please enter after call notes here. Remember, your instructions, guys, shows up at the bottom of your question. And then you can give a hint text. Okay, this is just if there are specific things that you want included, you can give them a hint to remember of what you want included. I'm just going to say be as detailed as possible. Okay. Now your hint text is going to show up right here in this box. But once your evaluator clicks in this box to begin typing their notes, this is going to disappear. Okay. So again, it's just a quick reminder if there are specific things you want included. Now, if you do not give this a character limit, guys, it's going to default to 10,000 characters. However, you can give it a character limit if you want. It's going to default at 250 characters, but you can change that up to 10,000 characters. You also could make this required, meaning your evaluator would have to answer this question before they would be able to submit their form. All right. Now, I want to show you what a drop-down question will look like. If you will, guys, just watch as I do this one. Now, remember, it is not a scoreable question type, so you cannot give it a point value. But I'm just going to use it, and I'm going to use a question we already have on our form. I'm just going to say which forms of ID were confirmed. Okay. Now, once you type it, you would come over to your properties on the right, and you can choose multiple selection where they can choose multiple answers for this question, or you could do a single selection where they can only choose one. Now, to add your answer choices, you're just going to click right here on list of values, and you're going to just add your answer choices just like so. And click add. Now, I want to come to my test form to show you what it's going to look like on a form itself. So I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom. This is what the drop down will look like. So if you chose multiple selection, they would be able to choose multiple answers for this question. Or if you did single, they would only be able to choose one answer. Do you guys have any question on the types of questions or the elements? Okay. All right, so we're going to scroll up to the top and let's click, guys, on question 1.1. And I want to show you the different options that you have on the right. The first option is our little puzzle piece, and this is your define rules. You can set up rules for your questions. So let's come to question 2.1. Question 2.1 says the agent confirmed the caller's ID. Question 2.2 says which forms of ID were confirmed. Well, if they did not confirm the caller's ID, then you're not going to need to know which forms of ID were confirmed. This is where this define rules can come into play. So I'm going to click right here on my puzzle piece. And here's my question. The agent confirmed the caller's ID. If the selection is, I'm going to change this to no. So if they select no for this question, then I want to hide the question that says which forms of ID were confirmed. Now, you could hide a different question from that section if you wanted, but that is the question we're wanting to hide. So I'm just going to click set, and you can see this is outlined in green, letting us know we've set up a rule. Now I want to show you what this is going to look like on the form. So here's question 2.1. If I say yes, they confirmed the caller's ID, then I can select which forms of ID were confirmed. However, if I select no, it takes that question away. Now, what's going to happen point-wise is whatever point value you set up for this question, they're going to lose that entire points. Now, you can use these the define rules, guys. You can use it on yes, no questions, checkbox. You can use it on date and time. The only question types you cannot use that on is going to be your hyperlink. You'll see you don't have that option. And your short and long text, you're not going to have that option. But any other question type, you can use that. To the right of our puzzle piece is our two little squares. This is your duplicate option. So remember, that would just make an exact copy. Your third option is this little disc, and if you hover over it, it says save to the bank. So if you was going to use this question on another form and you didn't want to have to retype it out, you can save it to your question bank. All you're going to do is click right here on the disc. It'll tell you it's been saved successfully. Now, after you save it, to get to your question bank, you come back to your elements on the left. And if you find your yes, no question, if you go directly above it, you're going to see where it says question bank. And right here is my question. Now, let me make sure you understand. It is not going to be just the questions you save to the question bank. It's anyone in your company that has access to the question bank. You'll be able to see anyone's questions, okay? But you can hover over it and you can see your question here. It'll tell you like this is a yes, no question. To use it, all you would have to do is click on it, drag it wherever you would want it on your form. Now, you still have, it's still going to be a yes, no question. It's still going to be typed out the exact same way, but you can make changes to your property. So if you needed to make changes, you can do that. Your last option is your trash can. So if you needed to remove this question, which I'm going to, you just click the trash can. Now, to get, maybe I don't need this question any longer in my question bank. To delete it, all you have to do is you'll see this little X up in the top right-hand corner. If you click on that, it'll tell you you're about to delete it. It cannot be undone. Do you want to continue? You just click yes, and you're ready to delete that. All right, guys, we have been going a little over an hour. Do you guys need a break?
I think this could be good to take a break.
Okay, awesome. So let's come back. Let's see. 11:15, is that good?
But I have a question.
Yeah.
Our customers wants to integrate images in that form. We need to know if it's possible because they have used the hyperlinks, but
Mhm.
they said that it's not useful. So they
So
want to.
what are you needing to do with it? I'm sorry.
Um, they want to integrate images because they they used to use another platform, and they were they were able to use or integrate images because for example in some cases the agent they have to integrate in these forms PDFs or images and the agent can view, sorry, but they say that it's not possible to view these um, the PDFs or images in this form, so they
Mhm.
want to view.
So they're wanting to view the PDFs, correct?
Yes, or
There
images.
is there is not a way to do PDFs. Tomorrow when we go over coaching, I don't know if that'll assist you or not, but you're able to add up to 5 attachments per coaching session um, for them to view, but you could do PDFs that way, but there's not a way on the form itself to do a PDF.
Okay, and images.
Do what now?
It's possible to integrate images.
Metrics? Is that what you're saying?
No, no, image.
Image?
Yes.
There is not a way to do an image either on the form other than the logo.
Okay. Exists the way that you can say us or share us the information that explain that is not possible to share with our customer.
There is not a way. Mm-mm.
But you have the information because we have to explain to our customer that is not possible. Please.
So you're wanting to share this evaluation form with your customer, correct?
Uh, mm, this kind of evaluation has been shared with our customer, but they want to know if it's possible to integrate PDFs or images, but if it is not possible, we need to have a substantiation or the information that explain that it's not possible and explain to our customer that it's not possible.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just not possible. I don't know that we have any documentation that says that, like word for word, but it's not possible to share like a PDF or an image from here.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Mhm. Any other questions? All right. So let's come back, guys, at 11:20. Is that good?
Yes, it's good, thanks.
All right. Enjoy your break. All right, guys, welcome back. If you will, just give me a thumbs up to let me know when you're back.
Hi, I'm back.
Thank you.
I think I'm the only one here.
That's okay. We'll give them a few more minutes.
Me too. Me too. I'm here.
Thank you. Guys, if you will, just let me know when you're back.
Carrie, I think that we can proceed.
Okay, we will get started.
Thank
Thank you. Do y'all have any questions about anything so far? All right. So we've just created our form. So now we're ready to set up our scoring for our form. To set up the scoring for the form, you're going to come right here to where your company logo is. If you go directly above that, you're going to see this little trophy. When you hover over it, it says define scoring. You're just going to click on this. If you want your form to be scored, you're going to click right here where it says enable scoring. Okay. Now, if you use negative scoring is now available. I personally have not trained a customer yet that uses it, but that is available if that's something you use. Also, be aware we do not recognize bonus points on your form, so your form's going to need to equal out to 100%. So every question that is a scoreable item is going to have scoreable right here under it. If you decide, oh, I want this on my form, but I don't want it to have a point value, you can just simply uncheck this scoreable and it's going to remove those points from your form. Okay. I'm going to leave all of our scoreable for training. But this is a yes, no question. So you can change your point value for yes to whatever you want. No's going to need to be 0 points. But let's just say I wanted yes is going to be 10. No will be 0 points. Okay. Now, this is the question that the radio question that I used. If you wanted to use NA without NA losing points, this is how you would do it. So you would give your point value to yes, whatever you want that to be. Whatever point value you give to yes, you're going to give NA that exact same point value. And I'm going to change no to 0 points. All right, question 1.3. This is a checkbox question. So remember, you have to give each answer choice the exact same point value. So I'm just going to do each one at 10 points. So it's 30 possible points for this question. If they didn't verify the address, then they're only going to get 20 out of those possible 30 points. All right, I'm going to scroll down to question 2.1. This is another yes, no question. So I'm going to say yes is 15 points. I'm going to leave no at 0. And then another checkbox question. And I'm just going to do 10 points for each just because we don't have a lot of questions on our form. So this question would be worth a total of 40 points. Now, the rest of these questions, you can see you're not able to add a point value to those. Those are your non-scorable question types. Now, once you have your scoring set up, you just simply click Save. Okay. This is the time if you want to mark a question as critical on your form, this is when you would do it. So if I click on question 1.1, if I come to the properties, mark as critical is no longer grayed out. So if I wanted to mark this question as critical, I just check the box here. And I can choose if they miss this question, do I want them to fail the entire form, meaning the entire form score is going to turn to 0%, Or I can choose where they would just fill this section of the form. So that one section would turn to 0%. And then I'm going to flag the answer that I want to fill it. So I'm going to click the flag by no. So the way I have it set up is if no is selected for this question, they're going to fill section 1 of the form. Now I want to show you what that's going to look like. So I'm going to come right here to where it says test form. And the first thing I want to do, this is going to be your total score right here. And it's going to tell you each section score here. The first thing I want to do is I want to mark all of the correct answers to make sure this is going to equal out to 100%. So for 1.1, I'm going to say yes. For 1.2, you can either say yes or you can say NA. Either way is going to work. And 1.3, you want to mark every checkbox. Okay, so you can see section 1 score is 100%. The total score is 41.49 because we haven't scored section 2 yet. So if I scroll down, I'm going to say yes for 2.1 and I'm going to mark every checkbox. So now section 2 is 100% and our total score is 100%. So it's working like we want. Now, this is a critical question. I know it's critical because it has this purple flag. It says critical in purple. That is alerting the evaluator, hey, this could fail this entire evaluation form. So if I select no for this, you're going to see section 1 is going to turn to 0%, and the total score is only going to be section 2 score. Now, if you choose to fail the entire form, both sections are going to turn to 0% and the total score is going to equal 0% as well. Any questions on that? The next option that you have, and again, it is an option, it is not required, is you have the ability to set ranking on your form. What that is if you do not want your agents to see that they made a 50%, you can set it up where they would see like failed, passed, etc. Okay. So if rank, and it's only for your agent's view. As an evaluator, you're going to be able to still see the percentage. Okay. If ranking is something you want to use, you're going to find your logo on your form and you're going to go back above it to the trophy. So the same place that we went to set up our scoring. To the right of set scoring, you're going to see where it says set ranking. Now, if you want to use ranking, you click this box by enable ranking. It'll tell you using ranking is going to replace the score display. Again, that's only for your agents. As an evaluator, you can still see the percentage. Now, even if you do not use negative scoring, you're going to need to leave this just like it is. -100 to -1 is failed, okay? But then the way it's set is they make 0 to 50%. So if they made a 45%, they're simply going to see failed, okay? Or 51 to 100 would be passed. You can change these percentages. You can also change your display. So I'm going to change this one from 51 to 75%, and you just have to scroll down to find it. And instead of past, I'm going to change that to almost there. And then you're going to click the add button again to bring down some more boxes. From here, you're going to do 76% to 100%. And for this display, I'm going to say passed. But you could break it down further if you needed to do so. You would just simply click the add button again to break it down further. Any questions on ranking? We're just going to click Save at the bottom. Now, the next thing is going to be our workflow settings. So to find this, we're going to come right over here, right to the left of our test form. You're going to see this little gear shift right here. And if you click on this gear shift, it's going to bring up your settings. The first one is going to be your evaluation workflow. Your first option is you can send this graded evaluation to the supervisor before it would go to the agent. Remember, this supervisor is going to be whoever is listed as that team lead when you created your teams. Okay. So if you want it to go to the supervisor before the agent, you click right here. Or you can choose to send it to the evaluator. Maybe if it's below 50%, it would go to the supervisor first. Okay, if you do not have a team lead listed, it's going to go directly to that agent. Your next option is you can send this graded evaluation to the agent. Okay, when the agent receives it, they're going to be able to pull up their CX1 player and that graded evaluation form side by side so they can listen to the call and see their evaluation. Now, you can choose, do you want the agent to see their score? If you set up ranking, then they're going to see like failed or passed. If you don't set up ranking, they're going to see their actual percentage score. You also have the ability, do you want that agent to have the ability to acknowledge? When an agent acknowledges a form, they are saying that they have received this graded evaluation and they have reviewed it. Okay. Any questions on these settings? All right. Back to the left, we have our appeal option. So we have a one-time appeal process, and I'm going to explain what that's going to look like. Let's say that I'm the evaluator and Tony's going to be my agent. So I finished scoring his call, and when I click submit, Tony's going to get a bell notification alerting him he has received a graded evaluation. Now, he can open it up. It's going to pull up the player and the form, and he can go through it, but maybe he thinks he's got question 1.2 and 1.3 right, and it's marked wrong on the form. In that case, he can click the appeal button, and a box will populate. In this box, he's going to tell me the reason he's sending it back for this appeal. So he would put, please look at question 1.2 and 1.3. I believe there is a scoring error. Okay. When he hits submit, me as the evaluator, I'm going to get a bell notification alerting me that he has requested an appeal for this evaluation. So I can click on it and I can open it up, and right under the score, I can see his request reason. So I can see he's wanting me to look at questions 1.2 and 1.3. So if I need to make a change, I can make that change right there on the form. And when I go to click submit, I'm going to get a bell notification, a box as well. In this box, I'm telling him my findings. Yes, these are correct. Your score has been updated. When I click submit, he's going to get another bell notification alerting him that it's back from review. He can open it up, and under the score, he can see his request reason, and under that, he can see my findings. So yes, yours, this was correct. Thank you for alerting me of the scoring error. Now, I'm telling you that here, but tomorrow I'm going to show you what that process actually looks like, okay? So if you want your agent to be able to do this one-time appeal, you can choose who do you want to be the appealer for this. You can choose the supervisor can request this appeal on behalf of that agent. Now, this supervisor is not who was listed as the team lead. This is going to be any supervisor as long as they have the appeal permission. They can request that one-time appeal. Or you can select the agent can request that one-time appeal. Or you could choose the supervisor and or the agent can request that one-time appeal. All right, who's going to receive the appeal? If you leave it on the assigned evaluator, that is going to be the evaluator that did the scoring for that. To start with would be the assigned evaluator, or you can choose a specific person. If you choose a specific person, you just find their name, and all appeals from this one form is going to go to this one person. Any questions on this? Back to the left, we have our evaluator access. So your form is going to show up in the form manager, but this is where you can choose who can actually use your form. If you leave it on all users, that means anyone that has access to the form manager will be able to use your form, or you can select specific users or groups to use your form. I'm just going to leave it on all users. Now, if you are creating your form, guys, if you will, come up here and uncheck everything for the appeal, because we're going to be doing some evaluations today. I don't want anything to go to the agent we're evaluating. And come right above that to the evaluation workflow and uncheck everything that is here. All right, any questions? All right, we're going to give it a save. Now, we've just created our first form. Do you guys have any questions before we save and activate our form? All right, so we're going to come right up here to the top. We're going to click Save and Activate, and it's going to bring us right back to this home page. So here, you're going to see the form names, and I want to talk about this version, okay? All versions are going to start out at version 0.0. As long as your form is in draft, you can make as many changes to that form as you want. It's going to stay version 0.0. However, if your form is active, and I created a form just to show you, you can click back in it. You can make like cosmetic changes without updating the version. So like if you had spelling you wanted to correct, change your logo, etc., you can do that. It's not going to update your version. However, if you needed to make a big change, maybe add another question to your form, you simply turn this toggle switch off. And I'm just going to duplicate this question. And once I save it and come back to my form manager, you're going to see this is now version 1.0. If I went in and made another big change and saved it, it would be version 2.0, okay? So every time you go in and change it, it's a different version. I say all of this to say, if you're going to make changes, try to make all of the changes at one time to keep your version as low as possible. Now, when you get to your reports, you're going to be able to decide which version or versions you would like to have included in your reports. Now, from here, you can see when it was last modified, who created the form, whether it's an active form or if it's in draft. I do want to point out, guys, the only time you can rename your form is going to be when it is in a draft, okay? Once your form is active, if you come to your 3-dot settings, You have the ability to duplicate this form or make an exact copy of it. And you can also deactivate a form from here. All right, any questions? All right, since I am required to give you an assessment at the end of training tomorrow, at the end of each section, I have a knowledge check. If you will, if you'll just put your answers in the chat for me. Excuse me. Of the following options, which is not a function within the form manager? A, build form questions. B, set form scoring. C, add a company logo to the form. Or D, search for and evaluate calls.
Letter D.
Okay, awesome. That is correct. You cannot search for or evaluate calls. To which of the following form elements can dynamic rules be added? The dynamic rules, guys, was the little puzzle piece where you could hide a question. So A, yes, no, B, checkbox, C, date and time, or D, all of the above.
I know that it is letter A, B.
I
Don't
love
remember.
Letter D, no, all of the above.
All of the above.
Yes, it is D, all of the above. Very good. All right, Sean is the quality manager of the Acme Corporation, and he'd like to set up their evaluation forms to allow the agent to challenge their quality score. Which setting does Sean need to enable? A, no action is necessary. This is a default setting that is on for all forms. B, in the workflow setting, select agent and or supervisor as the appealer. C, in the workflow setting, select agent can acknowledge. Or D, none of the above. This feature is not available in the tool.
Letter B.
That's correct. It is B. Select the agent and or the supervisor as the appealer. Very good. All right. Now, do you guys want to take your lunch at 12 or are you ready to take it now? Just let me know what you want to do.
Lunch.
You want to go ahead and take lunch?
All of them.
Anybody want to take lunch or you want to continue for a little bit more?
I don't know. Nah. Sure. Nah.
You want to go ahead and take
sounds good.
lunch? Okay. So let's just say y'all want to come back at 12:20. Is that good?
It sounds good.
Okay.
Yes, thanks.
All right. I'll see you back at 12:20. Enjoy your lunch.
Well. Well, thanks.
All right, guys, welcome back. If you will, just let me know when you're back.
Hi, yes, we are back.
All right, thank you. Give everybody time to get back on real quick. So just let me know, guys, when you're back. Just let me know, guys, when you are back, please.
Danny, are you there? Yes.
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 All right. Well, we're going to go ahead, guys. We're going to get started. Do y'all have any questions about anything we've covered so far? All right. Well, we are going to move right on. We are going to go to our interactions, and this is where you can see like all calls that are in your system. If you've purchased like emails or chats, you'll see those here as well. This is what the interactions homepage is going to look like. This on the left right here, these are called queries, and I'll show you how to set one up in a minute, but that's just calls that you want to get back into quickly and easily. Right here, this is where you can search by like an agent's name, you can search by a team, you can search by a group, etc. And then this is called your date picker. So you can see calls like from today, the last 7 days, current month, previous month, etc. If you type in an agent's name and you're not getting any results, 99% of the time it's going to be that your date picker is wrong. So you want to make sure to check that. Now, these are your searchable fields. I said you could search by like your agent's name, you can search by a team, but you can also search by like a phone number, email address, email subject if you have those, interaction ID, segment ID, etc. So we're going to go into the system itself to go through this. So we're going to come to our waffle grid in the top left-hand corner, and we are going to come down to where it says Interactions Hub, and we're going to click on this. Okay, so this is what we were just going over. So again, you can search by your agent's name. From the drop down, this is what your date periods is going to look like. So if I search for calls from just the last 7 days and click search, it's going to bring those interactions up for me, so that I would be able to see those. Now, if I go back to the left, you're going to see this home button. If you click on that, it's going to bring you right back to this page. The first thing, is there a specific agent that you guys want me to evaluate for training? If not, I'll just select someone.
For example, copy.
One that, if you'll just put the name in the chat for me of who I can evaluate.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the home page, what we're going to do is we are going to type in Cappy's name, and we're going to just do the last 7 days. And we're going to click search. Okay, it did not bring any interactions up for that person.
So I suppose that last month.
Okay,
First month.
there we go. All right, so guys, if you want to type in Cappy and do previous month, these are the interactions we're going to be using for training.
Yes, they were tested.
Right. So the first thing I want to do, guys, is show you how to save a query. So when we want to get back into these calls without having to retype the name and select the date period, if you come over to the far right, you're going to see this save button with the drop down, and it'll bring up the save. So we're going to click here, and we're just going to give our query a name. So we're going to name it test. Now, if you have the option to either make yours private or public, go ahead and make it private. I don't have that option on mine, but you'll want to make it private. And then we're going to just click save. Now, to get back to the home page, you're just going to come to the far left. You'll see this blue home button, and it brings us right back here. So here, under My Queries, you're now going to see the query that you just created. If you want to make this query a favorite, you just click the star. It'll light up gold. So this query will show in My Queries. It'll also show up here as My Favorites. Now, over to the right of this, you'll have your 3-dot setting. So you can delete this query if you no longer need it. You can rename the query from here, and you can also share the query with others. So I'm going to click share just to show you. And from this drop down, you can select the employees that you want to share it with. You can either type their name in right here, or you can just scroll down to find their names. Now, once you find who you want to share it with, just click this up arrow. By default, it's going to say check out this query. You can add to that, or you can change that if you want. And all you would have to do is click share. Now, the person or the people that I shared it with, you guys are going to get a bell notification right up here letting you know a query has been shared with you. So when that person clicks on that notification, it's going to bring up these interactions that are in that query. So if that person wanted to create a query themselves, they would just follow the same process that we did to create our query. If I go back to my home button on the left, down at the bottom, it's sort of hard to see, but you're going to see where it says Insights, and there's 2 up arrows. If you click on that, this is going to bring your entire company's information, okay? You can get your information from the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, or the last 30. So blue is going to be screen recording. Y'all have had in the last 7 days, 38,708 interactions with voice. And chat, you can see those as well. Pink is going to be without screen recording, so they're just simply going to be your voice calls. But all of these are clickable, so you can click on this right here, and it's going to bring up those interactions for you. Now, that is a lot of interaction, so I want to show you, you do have filters, so you can filter down more specifically on these interactions. If you come to the left over to your filters, you're going to see these 2 lines that have the little circles on those. If you click on those, this is where you can select what filters you want to add. So you may want to add, let's go down, you may want to add the team they're on, the group that they are on. You can even select skill if you wanted to do that. I would like for you to add the hashtag, because I'm going to show you in a few minutes how to create your own custom filters. So if you'll create that, and then when you click out of it, it's going to bring these filters up for you. So if I wanted to just see the ones with screen or without or all, I could do that. You can filter down by a specific channel. Direction. So maybe if I only wanted to see the ones that were inbound, I can select that. It's going to filter down to those for me. You can filter down by a specific skill or skills, team or teams, and group or groups as well. All right. If I go back to my home button, you have to bring your Insights arrows back up. But here you can see your duration in minutes. So these are going to be color coded. So in the last 7 days, if I wanted to see how many calls we've had that were 15 minutes plus, I can hover over it and see it. Now, again, these are going to be clickable. So if I clicked on it, it would bring those interactions for me. And then you have your top team. So it looks like y'all only have one team currently, but normally it would tell you your highest rated team from the last 7 days down to your lowest. Or you can see your top skill from the last 7 days all the way down to the least used skill. And again, these are clickable as well. What we're going to do, guys, if you'll come to the left, if you will click on your query, all right, we're going to come over to the far right. Under your Save button, you are going to see some select columns. This is where you can customize your view. So you're able to add what information you want to see on the screen. So your customer information, that's going to be like the phone numbers. Direction, so is it inbound, outbound, or if it was internal? Your organization information, but you can scroll down. You can add the ANI, so the number or email that it was from. You can add, let's see, some that I would add. I would like for you to add the evaluation score as well as the evaluator, because we're going to be doing some evaluations in just a few minutes, and I want to show you all of that. You can add group, so you're able to see the group that they are in. You may want to add the segment ID, the skills, as well as the teams. So again, you can customize your view of what information you want to see on the screen. Now, you can see all of these were voice, and over to the left, some of these are going to have this funny symbol, and when you hover over it, it's going to say view related segments, okay? So remember, I said a segment changes. When you pick up the phone and say, thank you for calling, that's going to be segment 1. If I transferred them to another agent, when that agent picks up, it's going to begin a segment 2, okay? So I want to show you what this view related segments is going to look like. So you're going to have your interaction information right up here. You can see it was voice, screen recording occurred, the date and time. You can see there are 3 segments in this call. It involves one agent, one team, and one skill. So if I just wanted to listen to this part of the call, I could simply click on the play button right here. It's going to bring up the CX1 player so that I can listen to it. So you can see right here where music's playing. This will be a separate segment when they pick that back up. Or if I wanted to listen to the entire call, you have your play button from right here, and it's going to let you listen to each segment of the call from here. Okay, so that is what the view related segments will do. This is screen recording, and then you have all of your information. There is a gray scroll bar, so you can scroll over and you're able to see all the information about this interaction from here. Now, over to the right, you are going to see these little chat boxes. Now, these chat boxes, they serve 2 purposes. So we're going to click on one of these chat boxes. The first thing this can be used for is you can share this interaction with someone else. To do that, you just do the @ sign, and you can type in who you would like to share it with. All right, let me share it with. Okay, let me find some of you. Let me do Enrique and all right. And I'm just going to say, please listen ASAP. When I click submit, guys, anytime you share an interaction with someone else, they are going to get a bell notification alerting them. They will have a play segment so they can click on it to listen to that segment from there. But also, when you share an interaction with others, they're also going to get an email notification as well. They can play this segment from the email. Now, it'll be gold. If you needed to edit this or delete it, you have your pencil here, and you also have your trash can. The next purpose for these chat boxes is you can create your own custom filter. So you have all of these filters over on the left, but you have the ability to create your own as well. To do this, you just click on the chat box, and you're going to do your hashtag or your number symbol. And maybe this is a call that I want to review later. So I'm just going to do review later. Now, when you are creating hashtags, guys, you do not put spaces between your words. Okay. So I'm just going to do review later. And if you want to create one with me, go ahead, guys, and select one. And you can name it whatever you would like. Once you have it typed out, you just simply click submit. And then what you have to do for it to show up is come up and click your normal refresh button on your page. Now, if you added the hashtag filter, is now going to show up right here. So I could filter down just to this interaction that I did review later. You also can search by those hashtags right up here where we have the name. You can search by those hashtag filters from there as well. To the right of that, we have our play button. This is going to bring up your CX1 player so that you're able to listen to this interaction. And I want to tell you a little bit about the player. So right up here, this is going to be your interaction details. You can see that it is a voice recording, screen recording occurred, it's outbound. It's going to give you your contact ID, the start date and time, and the end date and time. To the right, you have your 3-dot settings right here. You can choose whether you would like to view these details or not. So right here, this is what it's talking about with details. So you would be able to see the agent. And business data is something you would have to add. If you choose not to see those details, you can just simply turn that toggle switch off. You also can choose whether you would like to view the audio panel. So right down here, this is what the audio panel looks like. So the customer will be blue, your agent will be in green. If you don't want to see that, you can simply turn this toggle switch off. The next one, this is your first method of evaluating. This is called an on-the-fly evaluation. It has been hugely requested by customers to be able to evaluate from the player itself. So to do that, you just simply click evaluate. Your name's going to appear as the evaluator. Okay. You could send this to another evaluator if you wanted for them to do the evaluating, but we're going to just leave it as ourselves. And then you're going to select the form that you want to use to evaluate that call. Okay. When you click on evaluate, it's going to bring up your form. So you have your player and your form side by side so that you can evaluate. This is what your headers are going to look like. So all of this information is going to automatically be populated for you, except for this custom header that you would have to manually type that in. Okay. All right, I'm going to close out of that. If you go back to your 3-dot settings, now this is going to be according to your roles and permissions. If you have the permissions to download the voice, you can download voice only, Or if you are given permissions to download the voice and screen, you're going to see that. This is going to be the only place that you have the ability to download the interaction, okay? And again, you have to have the roles and permissions for that. Now, right up here, this is where your screen recording is going to occur. You have the ability to zoom this in or zoom it out from right here. Also, right down here, this will make your screen recording a full screen. You can also scroll it out or in from here as well, but so you can see your screen recording better. Right down here on the player, you have your normal play pause button. You can rewind 3 seconds or fast forward 3 seconds. Over on the left, this is called your loop feature. So if you are anything like me, sometimes I have a hard time understanding what's being said in an interaction. If so, this is going to be your best friend. So what you'll do is you'll click play, pause it when you start having trouble understanding what's being said. Click this loop feature one time, click play, pause it when you can start understanding what's being said again. Click the loop feature a second time. So now when you click on play, it's going to play that part of this interaction on repeat. So hopefully you're going to understand what's being said. To release that loop, you click it a third time and it will continue right on with your call. This is your skip silence. So anywhere that there's no one talking or if there's music playing, it skips over that just so you're not listening to dead air. Your next option is where you can add an annotation. This is where you can add a note on the player itself. So all you would have to do is click right here on add annotation. You have the ability to make this public, meaning anyone that has access to this call can see it, or you can choose to make it private. So maybe this is where they failed their call. So I'm just going to do failed call, so I'll know exactly where they failed their call in this interaction. And then you just click add. Now, your annotation is going to be a little gold box. You can hover over it. It'll tell you the exact time on the player where it was triggered, the comment that you've added, who added it, the date and time. You have the ability to click on the pencil to edit this comment or the trash can to delete the comment. Over on the right, you have your volume. So here you can control your master volume. You can control your customer side as well as your agent side from here. And then you have your playback speed. So you can speed this up or you can slow it down. Do you have any questions on the player? All right.
No, I don't have questions. Thanks.
Oh,
Me too.
all right. Thank you. You have questions, Daniel, or don't?
Not at this moment. Thanks.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
I remember I have one question about the hashtag.
Uh-huh.
When you create one, this is public, anyone can see it.
Mhm.
And so that's the way it works.
Yes. When you create a hashtag, anyone that has access to the Interactions Hub will see that. Now, I will tell you, when you create those hashtags like this one that I did review later, let's say you go behind me and make another hashtag on the same interaction, it's going to replace the one that I placed there. So sort of keep that in mind. If someone goes and puts another comment on it, it replaces yours.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. Sorry. Uh, for example, when you filter the by teams, you said that we have just one. In this case, for example, it's not for interactions hubs. It's more for reporting. But
Mhm.
my question is, if we create more teams,
Mhm.
it will affect the reporting or maybe the interactions hub,
So
because
you would just be able to filter down further in your reporting. So you could like, for example, Daniel, if you had a team and certain agents you were under, you could filter down just to those people that are in that team. So it just makes for better reporting, but you also can do that by groups, and you do have groups set up as well. So you can filter down by specific groups.
okay, thank
Mhm. All right. Over to the right of your play button, you're going to see this 3-dot setting. So if we click on this, this first one is another way you can share. So if you did not like doing the comment box and type an @ in their name, you can share it this way. You just simply click share. And again, from the drop down, you can find who you would like to share it with. You can also search for their name here. Again, it's going to say check out this interaction, but you can add to that or you can change it. And then you just simply click share. So remember, when you share an interaction with others, they're going to get a bell notification with a play segment so they can listen to it from right there. They're also going to get an email as well. If I go back to my 3-dot settings, this is the evaluate. So I showed you how you can evaluate from the player. That is a manual evaluation. This is also a manual evaluation. We call this on the fly evaluation. So you would just simply click evaluate. Again, your name's going to show up as the evaluator, but you could change it to someone else. If you send it to someone else, it's going to show up in their My Zone evaluation task. And then you select the form you want to use for the evaluating and you click evaluate. Now, when you are in your interactions hub, guys, it is not going to automatically bring up the player, okay? So you just have to manually come over here and click the play button to bring up the player. I'm not going to bring it up because we're not actually listening to this call to evaluate, but for a real evaluation, you would have to bring up the player. So again, we have all of our headers that are filled in. And let's say that I get to listening to the call, this is not the correct form. Well, in that case, you have your change form button here, and you could change it to whichever form you want, and it would update. Okay. Now, I do want to show you these built-in comment boxes. There is a 256 character limit. I'm going to just put take your time on this. And I just want to show you what it's going to look like. So it'll show right here, but there's not a way to edit or delete those. But with the 26.1 that'll start rolling out in April, you will have those options here. But you just go through and you're marking the answers however, and let's say you got called to a meeting and you need to come back and finish this later. Well, in that case, all you would have to do would be click Save as Draft. Okay. Now, when you save it as a draft, it's not going to show up here in your interactions hub. Now, I want you guys to stay in the interactions hub, but I'm going to show you where you're going to go to find those. So I just go to my waffle grid in the top left-hand corner, and I'm going to come down to where it says My Zone. And I'm going to come to evaluation task. Evaluation task is for evaluators. This is where the drafts that you saved, this is where they're going to show. This is also where the quality plan is going to send those tasks for you to evaluate, okay? So in here, you can see the type of interaction, screen recording, the agent name, plan name. Manual means it's that on-the-fly evaluation. If it comes from a quality plan, The quality plan name is going to be listed right here for you. Standard, that means the evaluator is the only one that is scoring this. It's segment, so it's part of a recorded interaction. The assigned date and time. Now, if it is a manual on-the-fly evaluation, this is going to tell the date and time the evaluator begins scoring this. The actual interaction date and time, the duration, and then the status. Okay, so the draft is the one that I just saved. I do want to point out, you do have a trash can right here. Anything that you delete in CX1, you'll get this box. You have to tell the reason you're deleting it, whether it's poor sound quality, for training, whatever the reason. And that reason is going to show up in your reports, okay? Now, I know this one did not come from a quality plan, but let's just pretend that it did for just a second. If you come over and you delete a task from a quality plan, be aware that quality plan is not going to replace it. It's going to think, I've done my job, I've sent them a task to evaluate. Okay, so it's not going to replace it. However, if it comes from a quality plan, over to the right of this little pop out, you will see a replace task. Okay, the same thing when you click on replace task, you're going to get the same box. You have to tell the reason you want it replaced. When that quality plan runs again, it would then replace this task for you. Okay. All right, so this is my draft. All I have to do here is click on it. It is going to open up my CX1 player as well as my graded or my evaluation form. So I want to go through and I'm going to mark this critical as no, but I'm going to continue on with my scoring. Be careful, you missed a critical question. Okay. Once I finish scoring this, all I have to do is click submit and it's going to disappear from my task here. All right. I'm going to come back to my interactions hub. Going to come back to my query here and I want to show you. Now, we added the evaluation score to, or I did to mine. So here, let's see if I can find, all right, this is the one that I just scored. Nope, this is the one I just scored. I can hover over that. I can see the form that was used. It was completed, the date, who did the scoring, and the actual score. But you can click back on this, guys, and I just want to show you this. Down at the bottom, you may see this. This is going to be according to your roles and permissions, okay? If you are giving the edit permission, if you needed to make a change on that score, all you would have to do would be click edit. Again, you have to tell the reason you're making the edit is going to show in your reports. So I'm just going to put for training. You just simply click add. And you can go through and make any changes that you want to make. All right. And when you click submit, if I were to refresh my screen, it would show me the new score. But I can click back into this on that score. And right here, I'm going to see my evaluation history. So I can see when I first clicked on the form to begin scoring it, this was my first submit. You can see the score here. Now, our status on ours are going to show as completed because we did not send it to our agents, okay, for our training. So ours are going to show as completed. But normally, yours would say, if you sent them to the agent, awaiting acknowledgement, okay? Here, you can see the edit I made, the new score, and you can see the reason for that edit. right? So guys, if you will choose one of these interactions, it does not matter which one. If you will come to your 3-dot settings and come right here to evaluate. Again, you're going to leave it here as your name. You're going to select my form, the CZZ test form 1, and click evaluate. Now remember, in your interactions hub, you would have to manually click your play button to bring up that player. But if you will, just go through, guys, and score this, and it does not matter how you score it. And you can simply just click submit when you finish. All right, if we go back to our 3-dot setting, your next option you're going to see is calibrate. This is going to be used by like your supervisors or managers to make sure that the evaluators are grading pretty evenly and consistently across the board. I want you guys just to watch this process. I'm going to send out a calibration, but the only person that can delete a calibration is going to be who sent it out to start with. So if you will, just watch this. So all I would do is click calibrate. You can give your calibration a name. Here you can select the form that you want the evaluators to use to evaluate. You can send this to specific group or groups, and you can send it to up to 200 evaluators. Okay, so I'm just going to select a few people here. Daniel.
Yes, that's my name.
Okay, I'm just going to send it to a few people. So I've got 3 people selected here. And then you select the due date. Okay, I'm just going to leave it due today, so I'll be able to delete this after training tomorrow. And then all I would have to do is click calibrate. If you receive a calibration, it's going to show up in your My Zone evaluation task, and it will show you that it is a calibration. The last option, this is where you can send that agent a self-assessment. Now, I'm not going to send out a self-assessment, but I will show you the process. You just click the interaction you want that agent to score themselves on, click self-assessment, select the form that you want them to use, and then the due date. And you would just simply click create. That's going to show up in their My Zone evaluations, and it will say that it's a self-assessment. All right, guys, what questions do you have on anything in the Interactions Hub? All right. Well, we're going to move to My Zone, and I want to show you some things about My Zone. So we're going to come to our waffle grid in our top left-hand corner, and we are going to come down to where it says My Zone, and we're going to simply click on this. All right, you're not going to have everything that I have in My Zone because I have access to everything, but I am going to go over the parts that you're going to use. So the first one I want you to go to is evaluation task. If I sent you a calibration, you are going to see it right here, okay? Where mine says segment, yours is going to say calibration, all right? Now, the first thing I want you to do, guys, if I sent you one, click on it. I want to make sure that you are able to see the player and the form. If it only brings up the player and not the form, you need to allow pop-ups on this page. So right up here in your search, I think it's a square with the line through it. You just need to allow your pop-ups. The same thing for your agents. If they reach out to you and say, hey, I can only see the player, I don't see my graded evaluation, they just need to allow pop-ups. Okay, so we're going to click on it. And what I want you to do is I just want you to score it however you want. Yes, thank you. There is a picture in the chat, guys, of what it's going to look like. All right, so you just go through, guys, score it however you want. And when you finish, you're just simply going to click submit down at the bottom. Now, it will disappear off your task. I will tell you, you are going to have a completed task. Mine does not show it for some reason, but after you have scored, if you wanted to go back to review the evaluations you've graded, you have your completed task right there, so you could go back to review it. All right. I'll come back to my zone evaluations, but that is for your agents. That is where they're going to receive those graded evaluations once you finish scoring them. Let's come down to where it says quality performance. This is going to be a big place for you where you can come to see your team's average score. So I'm going to click right here on quality performance. Now you could break it down to specific teams. You can break it down to specific groups. And then you select the date range that you want your average score for. So I'm just going to do it from today. And right here, this is the default team's overall average score for this date. Right down here is going to list every agent that is on that team that's had evaluations during this time period. Okay, so we can see Capri, he's on the default team. This is his average score. He's had 3 evaluations. Now I can click right here on this, and it's going to show me the 3 evaluations that he's had. Okay, so I can click on these. It'll bring up the CX1 player and that graded evaluation form. So remember, if you need to make an edit and you have the permissions, you can make an edit from here as well. Now, let me tell you, ours are going to show as completed because, again, we did not send those to our agents on our workflow settings for our form. However, if they do go to your agent, okay, your agent has to acknowledge those before you can delete those. Now, if for some reason you had an agent that left to go to another job and they did not acknowledge theirs before they left, after 60 days, the system's going to auto acknowledge that evaluation and you would be able to delete it. But this is the place if you wanted to delete an evaluation from that team's overall average score or from that agent, this is the place that you're going to do that. Again, anything you delete, you have to put that reason. It's going to show up in your reports. Okay. Now, I will tell you, this quality performance, guys, it updates in real time. So as soon as an evaluation is completed, that score is going to populate right here. Okay. Right above, right up here at the top, right above Capri's name, you're going to see where it says quality performance in blue. This is your back button that's going to take you to the home page. Now, up at the top, I want to show you this where it says new evaluation. You can also see this on your My Zone evaluation task. But this is where maybe you wanted to score an email, but that email is not housed in the NICE system. Okay, but you still want that score included in that agent's overall score. This is where you can go to do that. This is what we call an employee evaluation. It's an evaluation that does not have the interaction attached in our system. But all you would have to do is click New Evaluation. You select the employee that you're wanting to evaluate. So let me find Capri's name. Okay. Again, your name's going to show up as the evaluator, but if you needed to send it to another evaluator, you could. Select the form that you want to use for the evaluating and click Evaluate. Now, it's going to bring up the form, but remember, it's not going to bring up the player because this is for an interaction not housed in our NICE system. So you're going to see a lot of those headers are not going to be filled in for an employee evaluation. But you can just go through and score it however you want. And I'm going to just give it 100% here. Okay, so you can see the average score is currently 64.89. When I click submit on this, if I click my refresh button, it'll show me my new average score for that team. So you can see it has now gone to 71.92. I can click back on it. And right here, this is that employee evaluation. So just know when it's an employee, there's not going to be a date of interaction, the duration, etc. Any questions on that? Right. The next one is My Zone calibration. So this is where you're going to see those calibration results. So when that supervisor or manager sent out a calibration to make sure there's not a lot of variance in the scoring from the evaluators, this is where they're going to go to get the results. There's also some calibration widgets that we'll go over tomorrow and a calibration report. But right here, you're going to see the calibration name, who initiated it, the agent, the form that was used, if there was an original score on that evaluation. And here's the calibration score. So you can see it was sent to 3 people, 1 person completed it. I can click right here on this calibration score, and it's going to open up my form. So here's section 1 and each question that is in that section. And right here on the average score, I can click on this and it's going to tell me how each evaluator scored that individual question. Okay. Once more than 1 person has scored it, it's going to show you the variance right over here for each question. Now, again, the only person that can delete the calibration is going to be who sent it out to start with. If I go back to the left, I see my recent interactions. This is going to be for your agents. This is where they can go to listen to their own interactions and their own interactions only. So they can listen to their interactions from the last 24 hours, last 7, 30, or 90 days. All right. And My Zone self-assessments, I'll show you this tomorrow, but when you send out self-assessments, this is where you're going to get the status of the score of how that agent scored themselves. But again, I'll show you that tomorrow on our slide deck, so you'll see what that looks like. All right, guys, what questions do you have for me? All right, well, let's do our knowledge check. On the player, which of the following are possible? Select all that apply. A, you can play part of a recorded segment in a loop. B, you can download the interaction. C, start a new evaluation. Or D, all of the above.
D.
Very good. All right, our next question. How do you add a custom filter to use in searches? A, share an interaction. B, use a hashtag in a comment. C, use the @ symbol in a comment. Or D, this is not possible.
Custom filter.
It's B, no? Use hashtag.
Very good. It is B. Use the hashtag to create a comment. All right, we have one last section today, guys, to go over, is our quality planner. Now, there's going to be 5 main settings on your quality plan. The first one is going to be the time frame that you're wanting to evaluate. You're going to select which form you want to use. You can only select one form per quality plan, just like when you were doing a manual evaluation, you could only select one form for that. Same thing for your quality plan. How many interactions are you wanting to evaluate? Which teams or groups should be evaluated? And then who will be the evaluators? Who are the people that are going to receive these tasks to evaluate? Now, I like to just go into the system to go through this together. So we're going to come to our waffle grid in our top left-hand corner. And we're going to come back down where it says quality management. And we're going to click on this. All right, it's going to open up to our manage forms, but if you come under your manage forms, you should see here where it says quality planner. Now, this is going to show you any quality plans that you have running in your organization. We'll come back to this in just a few minutes, but we're going to come right over here to the right where it says new plan. We're going to click right here on this. Okay, now you're welcome to create a quality plan, or if you prefer just to watch, you're welcome to do that as well. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to give our quality plan a name. You can give this plan a description if you want, it's not required. And then you're going to choose your evaluation type. So we have 2 different types of quality plans. We have a standard, and this is where the evaluator is the only one that's going to be scoring. Then we have a collaborative, and this is going to be done both by the evaluator and the agent, so you can compare. This is to ensure that the agents are understanding what is expected out of them. Now, for training, we're going to just do a standard plan, but I will show you a collaborative tomorrow. All right, your plan definition, we have some reoccurring plans. We have a monthly reoccurring. Now, your monthly reoccurring, guys, it starts on the 1st of the month.
Sorry, you're asking when we apply the evaluation?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Do you hear me? Hello? Hello, hello?
We can hear you, Lucio.
Okay, I got a notification that said that my speakers went out, so I was just making sure you could hear me. Thank you, Rodrigo. All right, so we have a reoccurring plan. It starts on the 1st of the month and it's going to continue until the last of the month. Okay, and then when the new month hits, it'll start fresh on the 1st of the month and it will continue until the end of that month. Okay, so it'll just keep requiring. keep recurring. Then we have a weekly reoccurring, and this is going to start on Sunday at 12 a.m. It's going to continue until the following Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Then when midnight hits, it starts fresh for the following week. Now, I will tell you, if we activated a quality plan today on March the 11th, what's going to happen is it's going to start today. It's going to go to the end of the month. It's not going to automatically go back to the first of the month. But when April 1st hits, it starts fresh on that month and continues till the end. Same thing with a weekly plan. If we activated a weekly plan today on a Wednesday, it's going to go until Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Then when midnight hits, it starts fresh for the following week. Or you can do a one-time plan. If you do a one-time plan, you can choose when you want your plan to start, and you can also choose when you want your plan to end. Now, I'm just going to do a reoccurring monthly plan for training. Now, it is going to default to whatever time zone is on your computer. If your agents, guys, are in a different time zone, you want to put this in your agent's time zone. Okay, so if you needed to change the time zone, there is a drop down right here where you could change that. All right, you're going to assign your one evaluation form. So remember, you can only have one form per quality plan. So from the drop down, you just find your form that you want. How many interactions per agent? So I'm going to say by the end of the month, I want 8 interactions per agent. Now you can choose to pull these interactions based on the start time when that interaction started, or you can choose to do it on the end time when that interaction ended. Either way, I usually just leave it on the start time. You can include interactions. So if you're doing a monthly plan, this is going to allow you to go back 30 days. So what this is saying is by the end of March, if the quality plan has not found 8 interactions that meets the criteria I'm about to set up, I'm allowing it to go back however many days. If you're doing a weekly, it'll allow you to go back 7 days. You can choose to exclude evaluations that have already been evaluated by another quality plan, or if they have already been tagged or sent to another evaluator to be evaluated, you can exclude those from here as well. Now, we're going to get to our filtering. You are only required to have one filter per quality plan. One filter per quality plan is all you're required. The more quality filters you select for your quality plan, sometimes it's harder for the system to find interactions that meets all of the criteria. Okay, so we're going to walk through these. If there is a call length that you want to evaluate, you'll see the call length. You can choose calls that are greater than. It defaults at 30 seconds, but you can adjust this. This is seconds, minutes, and hours. You can do between time. It's going to default from 30 seconds to 6 minutes, or you can do less than. I'm just going to leave it greater than 30 seconds. Now, you can choose, am I only wanting to evaluate interactions with screen recording, without screen recording, or all? That's going to include with screen recording and without screen recording. Is there a specific channel or channel that I'm wanting to evaluate? So for example, let's say I only want to evaluate email and voice. I would select those. If I don't select anything here, guys, it's going to give you a random selection of all of the different channels. Same thing with direction. If I'm only wanting to evaluate incoming and outgoing, you're going to select those. If I leave this unchecked, it's going to give you a random selection of those. Your skills, is there a specific skill or skill that you're wanting to evaluate? If so, you select those, and then you can select the dispositions that you want to evaluate. Now, if you don't select anything here, guys, again, it's going to be a random selection. So what I'm saying, sometimes if you want calls that are less than 5 minutes, they have to be voice, they have to be from incoming, and they have to be, let's just say, the 4.2 skill. Sometimes it's hard for the interactions to all meet that criteria. So the less filters you set up, the better your quality plan will actually run and work. The next one is your business data. This is where, and if this is something you want to add, guys, I would refer you to your help. It will tell you step by step how to add this. But this is just where you enter a snippet into your scripts to collect a data point, and then you map it to one of your business data points. This could be used for like your account numbers, your customer tier, your loan numbers. But adding that business data, it ties that metadata point to the recording and interactions, and it makes it so you can select calls in your quality plan that meet certain parameters. All right, so now you're going to select the team or team that you're wanting to evaluate. You can select multiple teams here. You can also select a specific group or groups from here as well. Your last step is add your evaluator. So who are the people that are going to receive these tasks to evaluate? So you just simply click on add evaluators. Again, you can search here by name, or you can scroll down to find, I'm going to find myself. And Rodrigo, which one of these is you? Neither one?
The one downstairs, Rodrigo Rodriguez.
Okay, let's see.
Or you can add me, Lucio. I'm here.
For their names, guys, to show up here, they have to be an evaluator. I'm just going to select someone because I'm not actually sending this out. So let me do Enrique and Jose. Once you select your evaluators, you just simply click move and give it a save. Now, when you do that, you are going to see that your plan summary is now populated. So in this plan, there are 3,544 evaluations. It is a 30-day plan, and I need 8 evaluations per agent. Let me change this from 8 to like 2, so it's not quite so many. All right, you can see this went down to 886. Now, you're going to see each evaluator, and each evaluator, guys, is going to get 9.84 per day. So what this means, each evaluator will get at least 9 evaluations from this plan each day. Some days they may get 10, okay? Let it be known that each evaluator will not necessarily get the same per day. Okay, so for example, I may get 10 today, Jose and Enrique may get 9. Tomorrow, Enrique may get 10, and me and Jose get 9. Okay, so not necessarily the same each day, but by the end of the month, they'll get the same number. Now, you also have this custom team selection option. So I'm going to turn that on. So maybe for myself, there's a specific team that I'm wanting them to evaluate only. So if I click right here on the selected teams, I can select the team or teams that I want that evaluator to score. And I just click move and give it a save. So you can see my number just went up a whole lot. Then I can come to Jose and I can select the team or teams that I want Jose to evaluate. And then I can come to Enrique and decide the team or teams that I want him to evaluate. Okay. Now, if you wanted to remove a team, you can just click back on the team right here, the selected teams. And over on the right, you're going to see the assign. So you can remove a team or you can add another team if you needed to do so. Now, if you decide you don't want to do custom teams, you want them to all evaluate all of the teams, just simply turn that custom team selection off and it goes right back to how it was. All right. Any questions about a quality plan?
Yes, I have a question.
I'm just going to simply click cancel. Daniel, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. For example, our customer,
Okay.
they evaluate
Daniel, if you're talking, I can't hear you.
Okay, by chat.
Okay, I'm just going to click cancel, guys, because we're not going to do that. But I do want to show you that when you come back to your quality plans, you can make changes to an active. That is odd. Guys, let me leave and I'm going to come right back into the meeting and let me see if it fixes it, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you, so that fixed it. All right, so the question you guys had, I'm sorry, I apologize. If you want to ask any questions, go ahead.
Yes, our customer,
Mm-hmm.
they made the evaluations the previous day, but um, how is the distribution? For example, if we create a quality planner for
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, we have, for example, 10 supervisors, and we need to evaluate to 100 agents. How it will be the distribution for yesterday?
I'll say that last part again. I'm sorry.
Ah,
If you need to do
uh,
100 calls.
yes, our customer, they evaluate the agents just one interaction. But for example, if they have 100 agents and the evaluation, it will be distributed by 10 supervisors.
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah.
it will be the quality planner for yesterday? For we want to evaluate the previous day. For example, yesterday, we want today the activity and how it will be distributed by supervisors.
So it will be divided by the supervisors that you listed here. Um, so could you do a custom team selection or could you break it down into groups? Would that work for you, Daniel?
Um, In this case, yes, we have one team, but
Mhm,
in the future we will separate the by teams
mhm,
and most of
mhm,
groups. But at this moment, for example, if we select just one team and one group,
mhm.
for example, in this case appears 56 agents, and our client he wants to evaluate those agents, but the previous day. For example, if they have our client has five supervisors,
Mhm.
how uh, how this technology distribute the
How,
evaluations
how
uh,
does it distribute the evaluations?
is to make today, but
S-
we want to evaluate the yesterday, previous day. Sorry, for example, yesterday.
so it's just going to distribute them gradually and randomly. So like if it'll start with Monica, if it finds an interaction that meets the criteria, it's going to send it to Monica to evaluate. The next one that comes through, it's going to send it to her. Now, quality plans, they run every 4 hours, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes. But when they run, that's when they're going to start sending out their evaluation. So during that 4 hour period, if interactions have come in that met that criteria, it's going to start sending them to the evaluators.
Okay, each 4 hours.
Every 4 hours, it's going to update and run. Yeah.
For example, if they finish his job at 6 p.m.,
Hmm.
it will continues giving the interactions for the supervisor. For
Hmm.
example, at 10 p.m.
Right. Yes, it's going to continue. And even if they're not in office, it's still going to show up in their My Zone evaluation task. So when they return, they're going to be there for them to complete. So it's going to run 24 hours a day, and it's every 4 hours is when it's going to send out those evaluation tasks.
Okay, okay, thanks.
Hmm.
Very good.
Any other questions? Right. I wanted to show you when a plan is active, you can click back on it. You can make changes to like the name of it, your description. You can even change your evaluation form if you needed to. You can make changes to your filters. However, be aware once your plan is active, you cannot make any changes to the teams or to the groups. Okay, so once it's active, there's no changes to that. You can make changes to your evaluator. So, like, I say Monica was going, she's out sick this week. I can remove her, and when she returns, I can add her back. So you can add and change the evaluators on an active plan as needed. You just can't make any changes to the teams or groups. Now, we've created our quality plan. Where are we going to get the information for that? So we're going to come to our waffle grid right up here in our top left-hand corner. And we are going to come down to where it says My Zone. And we're going to come to where it says Evaluator Assignments. This is where you're going to get your quality plan information. So when we click on this, it's going to open up to your plans monitoring, which is where you want to be. Right over here in the top right, this is going to tell you the next time your quality plan is going to run. So remember, they're going to run or update every 4 hours. Now, this time that it's going to run and update, guys, is in UTC time zone. There's not a way to change that, but just know they're going to run and update every 4 hours. So right here on plans monitoring, you can see the different quality plans running in your organization. You're going to be able to see the name of these, the plan occurrence. So is it a monthly reoccurring, or if it was a specific date range, you can see those. The distribution, So this one's supposed to distribute 280. So far, it has not distributed any. The completion, the average evaluations completed per day, and how many days are remaining. Now, your status for your quality plan is either going to say on track, or more than likely it's going to say off track. The reason they're going to show us off track is unless every evaluator you assign to that quality plan, if they have not completed every single evaluation sent to them, it throws that entire quality plan off track. Okay. Now, when you're saying, oh, but Enrique completed his, it's still showing off track. More than likely, it's because it has not updated yet. So when it updates, it'll show as on track at that point. But you can click right here and get more information about your quality plan. So here you can see your different evaluators. You can see how many they are expected and how many they have completed. Now, since this is a monthly quality plan, there's going to be a slash that represents every day of this month. So you can hover over these little lines. Oh.
Sorry. That is an evaluation for today.
Say it again.
That is the evaluation. When it started, sorry.
It's a monthly plan, so it started on the March the 1st. You can hover over these lines. It'll tell you the date that represents, the number of evaluations completed that day, and then their average evaluations, how many they normally complete on that day. If this line is red, they have not completed any evaluations. If it was a darker, shorter green, they're below their daily average. Or if it's a taller, lighter green, they're above their daily average in completing their evaluations. Now, I'm not sure why it was not distributing any. I'm not sure, it may be some of the settings that were placed in the quality plan just for practice. But you're going to be able to see how many remaining days that they have.
I remember that it was created by our customer for test.
So like this one, there's 16 days remaining on it. It hasn't been sent out any either.
This is the same situation.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so this is where you're going to get all of your plans monitoring information. Over to the right of plans monitoring, you're going to see where it says manage evaluations. So here you're going to be able to see any evaluations that have been sent out. As long as your evaluations, guys, are in the new state right here, you have the ability to reassign those to another evaluator. So let's say, Daniel, you were out sick and I needed to reassign it for someone else to complete it so you're not getting backed up on things. I could click change assignee and select who I want to change it to and change assignee, and it's going to go to that new person's evaluation task. Now, they have to be in the new state in order to change the assignee for those. And I will tell you, if it comes from a quality plan, when you come to the change assignee, the only people that are going to show are the other evaluators listed in that quality plan. Any questions on that?
Not for me.
All right, guys. Any questions about anything we've covered today? This is the end of our day 1 of training.
Very good.
We have time left if y'all have any questions or anything you want me to go back over.
Mm, um, uh, just one.
Okay?
Um, our customer said that they want that when has finished the evaluation by the agent, the same agent can print this evaluation. We found that using the um, the keyboard with Control P, can we print the evaluation? But the customer said that if it's possible to sign the sign the evaluation, or
Mhm.
we have an apartment that the agent can, when finished to print this evaluation, can sign the form.
Okay,
Sign
so,
is just
so they're not able to see the form. Are they seeing just the player?
uh, no, yes, they can see the player, but they
Mhm.
want to. I'm going to put in the chat.
Okay,
Sign the
okay.
evaluation by the agent.
Sign the evaluation by agent. So they're wanting the agent to actually be able to sign the evaluation.
Yes.
There is not a way to do that.
Okay.
But what they can do when they acknowledge it, it'll show in their reports, and that's them saying, yes, I've received it, I've reviewed it. So in the reports, it'll have like their acknowledged date and time. So that's sort of like their signature when they acknowledge it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't have more questions. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Um, I can see an apartment that says Chief Bitik.
Say it again.
Uh, there is a part in my zone that says Chef Bidding. What kind of, or what's the meaning? What is the utility?
Will you place that in the chat? Because I'm not understanding you real clear. So I'm not sure and I don't want to.
Sure. Uh, Chief, what is it? Chief, I didn't.
What is shift bidding? Now that is not something that I cover in quality management. I believe that's going to be your ACD that will be able to go over that with you. So I am not certain on that to tell you, and I don't want to tell you wrong on that.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions?
Any more?
No, it's okay for me. Thanks.
Okay. Well, if not, guys, we can go ahead and end it, and I'll give you your time back. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. I enjoyed training you guys today. I hope y'all have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Carrie. Good
Okay,
afternoon to
Thank,
you.
thank you.
thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
We'll meet
Very
tomorrow.